The Ravens were in search of a new running back. It was reported on Tuesday that they had found one, and it's two-time rushing champ Derrick Henry. Henry will sign with the Ravens to pair with the reigning league MVP Lamar Jackson. Henry signed a 2-year deal for $16 million that could be up to $20 million in incentives, while $9 million is guaranteed. Last season, Henry rushed for 1,167 yards, which was second most in the NFL, only behind Offensive Player of the Year Christian McCaffrey. Henry was almost traded at the deadline, but the Titans decided to keep him despite being a free agent. The Ravens also needed a new running back after Gus Edwards signed with the Chargers. Their other running backs from last year were J.K. Dobbins, who is currently a free agent as well, and Keaton Mitchell is recovering from a torn ACL. Before Schefter reported the news of the signing, King Henry posted on his Twitter account that he had signed with the reigning AFC North champs. Since 2019, Henry has been the best at his position. In 2019, he rushed for 1,540 yards on 219 attempts and also added 16 scores. That season, the Bama product helped the Titans upset the Patriots and the Ravens in the playoffs to make it all the way to the AFC Championship. The next season, he rushed for over 2,000 yards, made the All-Pro first team, and won Offensive Player of the Year. For his efforts, the Titans awarded him a 4-year deal for $50 million. His contract carried a $16 million cap hit. Now that Henry is with Baltimore, the Ravens currently have a running back that has been the top 5 of his position in rushing yards since 2019. In Henry's career, he has made 4 Pro Bowls, made the All-Pro team, as well as winning Offensive Player of the Year. The Ravens just made their chances of winning the Super Bowl even better next season with the addition of King Henry. The Eagles just got better on the first day of free agency. It was reported that the Eagles were signing an ex-Giant. On Monday, the Eagles reached an agreement with Saquon Barkley. Barkley will now make $15.52 million per season, which is the second most in the NFL, only behind 49ers Christian McCaffrey. Details on the new contract for the Penn State product will be 3 years for $37 million. That could be up to $46.75 million. $26 million is also fully guaranteed at signing. The 2018 Offensive Rookie of the Year and the Giants were trying to reach a new deal but could not come to terms. Because they were not able to reach a new deal last offseason, the Giants tagged Barkley. This offseason, the Giants decided not to use the tag again, despite being able to. If the Giant had tagged the 2-time Pro Bowler, it would have cost the Giants $12.1 million. However, they decided to allow Barkley to enter free agency. Barkley has been with the league since 2018. He was drafted by the Giants with the second pick and immediately made a difference. He was named Offensive Rookie of the Year and made the Pro Bowl in his first season. He rushed for 1,307 yards, had 701 receiving yards, averaged 5 yards per carry, and also added 15 total touchdowns. After 3 years of injury-riddled seasons, he returned to form in 2022 and had 1,312 yards on the ground along with 10 scores. Last season, Barkley missed 3 games with an ankle injury but still had 962 rushing yards. Barkley wanted to return to the Giants and even said that he wanted to be a Giant for life. However, both sides could not agree to a new deal, and he became a free agent. The Eagles lost DeAndre Swift to the Bears, so they had to find his replacement. They were able to and even got a huge upgrade, despite Swift being a nice running back as well. For his entire 6-year career, Barkley has rushed for 5,211 yards and 35 touchdowns. He also has 288 receptions for 2,100 yards and 12 touchdowns through the air. The next best running back in free agency was Josh Jacobs. Surprisingly, Jacobs did not return to the Raiders, despite reports suggesting that he would return to Vegas for the 2024 season. That was not the case, and he found a brand new team. It was reported that Jacobs was signing with the Packers on a 4-year deal for $48 million. Last season, after a career year in 2022, Jacobs was looking for a new contract, but instead the Raiders tagged him. The 2-time Pro Bowler then skipped OTAs, training camp, and all of preseason in hopes of a new deal. But they eventually came to terms and agreed to a reworked contract that had Jacobs making $11.8 million in 2023. He would be eligible for free agency in 2024, although the 2022 first-team All-Pro running back could have been tagged again by the Raiders. The Raiders, however, decided to not tag Jacobs and allow him to hit the open market. In 2022, Jacobs led the league in rushing. The Alabama product rushed for 1,653 rushing yards and also had 400 yards through the air. The former first-round pick picked up 12 scores on the ground as well. According to Tom Pelissero of the NFL Network, who first reported the signing, the deal included a $12.5 million signing bonus, and Jacobs will earn $14.8 million in year number 1. Because they signed Jacobs, there was no need for Aaron Jones, and so they released the veteran running back. Before they signed Jacobs, the Packers wanted Jones to rework his contract and take a pay cut after the UTEP product struggled with injuries in 2023. They could not agree on a new restructured deal, so they parted ways with a fan favor. The Packers were also trying to get younger and cheaper at the position. Jacobs is 26, while Jones is 29. Despite Jacobs making more money than Jones in year one, the 26-year-old is a cheaper option long-term. Plus, Jones was set to have a $17.575 million cap hit in 2024. In 2023, Jones missed 6 games because of knee and hamstring injuries. Last season, Jacobs missed a total of 4 games because of a quad injury, but the 2022 rushing leader still generated 800 yards on the ground. He had a total of 1,101 yards from scrimmage. In his career, Jacobs has an average of 4.2 yards per carry. Swapping Jones for Jacobs was a home run for the Pack, and now they hope he can help the offense be even better with the emergence of 5th-year quarterback Jordan Love. And last but not least, there was Austin Ekeler. Ekeler agreed to leave the Chargers and join the Commanders. Before last season, the Western Colorado product requested a trade after not being able to agree on a new contract. The Chargers then allowed Ekeler to seek a trade, but he was not able to find a suitor and returned to the Chargers. Before the regular season began, the Bolts agreed to rework his deal with more incentives in the contract. According to reports, Ekeler is signing with the Commanders on a 2-year deal for $11.43 million. It is expected that he will split touches with third-year running back Brian Robinson Jr. The Commanders lost Antonio Gibson as he agreed to sign with the Patriots. Last season, Ekeler struggled as he dealt with injuries. He only had 628 rushing yards on 3.5 yards per carry. However, before last season, he was one of the best two-way backs. Outside of CMC, he was the most productive back through the air. In 2022, he had 915 yards on the ground. Since 2019, Ekeler has at least 400 yards through the air. Ekeler and Robinson will provide a 1-2 punch for the Commanders, and both are excellent in the run and pass. His entire career, Ekeler has rushed for 4,355 yards on 990 carries, along with 39 scores, and also averaged 4.4 yards per carry. Through the air, Ekeler had 440 receptions for 3,884 yards. In the first week of free agency, the Commanders were not shy on signing big-name players. They signed Austin Ekeler, Bobby Wagner, and even former Pro Bowl tight end Zach Ertz. The Commanders are now looking like a brand new team. Washington can now focus their attention on who they will have taking snaps this season. They traded starter Sam Howell to the Seahawks.